You're there to set an atmosphere for people to go somewhere else. They are there to see you and enjoy the music, but their mind and their dreams and their heart wants to go somewhere else. What's up, music lovers? Good to see you. Today we're going to be discussing and talking about my very first solo acoustic gig. And Maggie has joined us for the conversation. Although she doesn't look very happy about it. So yeah, my very first acoustic gig. It gives me anxiety just thinking about it. And in fact, when I think back on it now, I'm like, I must have been out of my mind. Why would I try such a ridiculous thing as standing in front of people and singing original songs alone with nothing else going on to distract them from me? Because, I mean, the truth is okay, I do like attention. It's taken me a lot of years to admit that to myself. In fact, just the last couple years. And really, it's been my social media exploits that have made me realize I do like attention. I don't think it's cool to say that you like attention. I don't know. It just feels like narcissistic, maybe. But what can I say? Anyway, that's a different point. Anyway, so my first acoustic gig. Just to give you some context for this type of conversation, I had been a performing musician for many years, about 10 years before I did a solo acoustic gig. So I was in bands, so my first band was called my first band was called 5 Cubic Feet. And that was my high school band, and we did a lot of local gigs, and so I got used to standing on stage, right? But it wasn't until, and then my second band was Big Leg Emma, and just as Big Leg Emma was starting, I was getting the itch to do solo acoustic stuff too. So anyway, I had spent some time on stage, but it just got to a point where I was like, I have this burning desire, this message in my soul, in my heart, that it needs to get out. And now I've come to realize that was my artistic voice, trying to get through me and out into the world, So it was just a burning desire. It's so hard for me to describe it. So it had way more to do with channeling the message and the art and music that was inside of me than it did standing in front of people and playing songs and singing. So I guess that's one of the reasons I'm making this video, is because if you have something like that in you, you have to do it. As much anxiety as it gives you and as much pain as it causes you, you have to do those things if you have a calling. What's Maggie doing back there? So let's get to the facts, I guess. I used to work up at the Chautauqua Institution here in Western New York. It's really cool. It's like a community for learning and culture, and it's an amazing place. Check it out, chautauquainstitution.com. But I work there in the summers, and they have an amphitheater up there, and I used to go there and watch music, and there's music all over the Chautauqua Institution grounds. But I used to work at a hotel called the Athenaeum Hotel, which is a really beautiful, huge, old hotel. It kind of reminds you of The Shining just a little bit. I don't know, like an old hotel like that, but I mean, it's beautiful. So I used to work there. I was the garde-manger chef. I still need to make that garde-manger chef video. I will do that at some point. And so I worked there, and my girlfriend at the time, who became my wife and now my ex-wife, she was a a server on the front porch. And so we got the idea that I would do a gig on the front porch of the Athenaeum, just acoustic, just playing my guitar. And I guess I was thinking that it would be kind of casual, like I'd just be setting environment, atmosphere music, and that's kind of what it was. But I made up a flyer and it said Kev Rowe playing on the porch at the Athenaeum Hotel. And I still have that flyer somewhere. I'll look for it. But it was more about me doing it, right? So I was going to charge tickets or do anything. I wasn't playing in front of a big crowd or anything. It was like putting my pinky toe in the water into this idea, right? So we asked Bruce, the manager, and he said, sure, you can do that. Oh, also, I think we might have had like finger sandwiches or like hors d'oeuvres or something. So there was something like that. But really, it was the doing it. So I had committed, right? I had made that commitment. I was going to do this thing. Also, I had recorded a fair amount. Bye, Maggie. I had recorded a fair amount of music up until this point. So I was fairly confident that I had the songs, that I had done some, I could sing as well as I thought I could sing. I mean, looking back on it now, I wasn't a very good singer, but I was good enough to not like embarrass myself, right? And I had sung for friends and family and relatives, kind of in a casual way, just to get the ball rolling here, you know? So all along, it was like this, there was this thing inside of me that wanted to get out, and I was inching it out little by little until eventually it just went out in a floodgate of creativity and songs and music and now content and videos. So back to the gig. Couple weeks going in, I am getting super nervous. Like just even thinking about this day gives you anxiety. And it's like the head just runs with what can go wrong, what are people going to think of me, all the judgment things go through your mind. And you're like, is this me? Can I really do this? All these doubts. Like, is this the person I'm meant to be? Am I just trying something else out? Are people going to think that I'm really bad at this? And why should I even try it? And like all these things run through your mind until you finally just have to go, no, those things do not matter. It's not about what other people think. Sure, the songs are for them, but really it's for me. Like, it's about me doing this thing and then getting the music out into the world, you know? So it's about like taking that step, you know? So you want the people to love your songs and to love the environment, but unless you're loving it as a performer and an artist, it's not going to communicate. So you have to find something in yourself that is comfortable with the uncomfortableness, and then the rest of you can love what you're doing. It's a weird thing. Yeah, and it's an adrenaline thing too. So I like risk. I like taking risks and all my life, and this is one of the weirdest risks I had taken. Funny how it took. So yeah, the day the gig comes, I am so nervous. I'm like, I can just remember myself up in, they had this thing called the bike rent, and I was up, and my girlfriend was staying up there, so I was up there in her room, and who became my wife. I was in her room, she was at work, and I was just pacing back and forth in the room thinking, what am I doing? And like sweating and finding it hard to breathe. And you're really like freaking out, you know? And I mean, to be honest, so at this age, that's a good point. I need to bring this up. I was about 27 years old. I think I figured that out. Either 27 or 28. So I was an adult. It's not like I was 15 or 16, you know? But like I said, I had spent some time on stage. So super nervous. Went down there, set up my little PA on the porch of the Athenaeum in the corner. Oh yeah, also I think I had a friend sitting on the gig. I think Amanda Barton, who I've made tons of music with over the years. She's been on a lot of my acoustic albums. She was my bandmate in Big Leg Emma. That's how I met her. She's a beautiful singer and a violinist or a fiddle player. Yeah, we have spent so much time making music together. She came to the gig, I think, and did one song with me. I think. So that I'm sure that made me feel more comfortable with the whole thing. So what I remember is just like my family and a few friends came down. I bet you there was probably 15 to 20 people all in chairs on the porch. And I remember thinking to myself, don't ignore them, but don't obsess over them. And that's one of the tricky things about being a solo performer, is that you're there to set an atmosphere for people to go somewhere else. They are there to see you and enjoy the music, but their mind and their dreams and their heart wants to go somewhere else. That's a really, really important thing. Like, it can't be just about what's in that room. If it's only about what's in that room, then it starts to become a little sketchy, or not sketchy, that's a bad word. Like set up, or like corny, or superficial. Or then if you don't have that other element, then it can become kind of narcissistic. Like, we're all just here just to like stroke each other's egos or something, or just to pat each other on the back. You have to go somewhere. Sorry. So I learned that in my very first gig. People need to go on a ride, a metaphysical ride, a spiritual ride. It can be an educational ride if you're a different kind of performer. But people need to go somewhere. So I learned that really quick. Let's go somewhere. And in the music, in the laying out of the format of that show, you've got like the set list, the backdrop, the lighting, the sound, of course, who's sitting in on it. There are all these ingredients that go into taking someone somewhere else. So I learned that really quick, and then I started to get comfortable with it. So, when to talk, when to tell stories, when to just shut up and play your music. You get that a lot in the restaurant scene. You just need to play music and create an environment, and that can be just as powerful, not saying any words, as a whole a whole set of great storytelling. So I learned all those different things. So that was my first gig. It ended, and then you just get on to the next one. So now I've done well over 1,000 gigs, either with my bands, Big Leg Emma and 5 Cubic Feet, or as a solo acoustic performer. And now it's all about adrenaline, and it's still about the risk doing live shows a little bit, but it's more like one of my favorite quotes is I forget where I heard. Oh yeah, my band director told me this when I was in high school. He said, "They're only nervous if you care." And I really love that. So I've used that all throughout my life. Like, whenever I get nervous, I say, you should be nervous. You care a lot about what's about to happen here, and it means something to you. So don't feel bad about it. Just, you're a little nervous. So what? Go do the thing, and that's way more important than your personal nerves. Those will go away afterwards, So you feel amazing after taking those types of risks. And I guess that's about all I have to say about my first gig. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I'll see you in another story. Bye-bye.